Hey everybody, welcome back to Baseline Farms. Hope everyone's doing well. So you guys, I'm finally finished with this little cottage. I am so excited to share with you how this little cottage turned out. I added some extra shelves, we painted it, and now we are getting ready to start some seeds. So I just wanted to come in here, show you how I'm starting seeds and where I'm starting the seeds at. So let me just go ahead and turn you around and show you what I did to this little cottage. All right, you guys. So what do you think? Is that just so cute? So on this top shelf right here, I have all the things that we don't use on a regular basis, like that Christmas tree holder. I have some solar lights for if we have any events, then I can pop those in the ground. And in that basket, I have some things like Easter stuff, Christmas things that I could pop into the containers for work. And then these are some stuff that I use, like pesticides and things that I use for work. This right here in this container, I have some knitting and these are little white fly trap things. This is just some empty buckets that I could use for containers if I want to. These are things that I found at the dollar store where you could use for the garden, like a little dome. I want to try those. I just planted up these little containers right here that I already had. This is something that I found inside the barn that I used as a, little decoration. Some vases that I'm going to put some little cut lavender. It was so cute. Some more empty pots, and then baskets, things like that. That's some fertilizer. Nothing really behind the door, just some ladders, some step stools. This one right here, I just repainted this. I had these baskets inside the house. So the top one has some gloves, and then this bottom one has some little twines and netting, things like that. This one right here has, I could use, isn't this so cute? I could use this out in the garden. I could just carry it out there. It has my snips and my little things that I use for the drip. And then this one belongs in the barn for the goats. No goat babies yet. These are some utensils that I use, some snips. This I use at a job site for weeds, if there's weeds and cracks. And then look at this, some beautiful flowers. Look at these irises. I got these from Costco just the other day. How pretty. And some dahlias. And then what else? I need to pop these on some containers. I have these little guys and those gladiolas, and then some potatoes I'm going to pop into the garden beds, along with some onions that I need to start, some garlic and some onions. I just got all these things recently from the nursery. This stuff I got from Costco, but all the seeds I just recently got, so I definitely need to get on that. This is just a smorgasbord of tools, like some watering wands and some shovels that I don't use on a regular. I have some potting soil down there. Let's see, right over here underneath this, where I built this little extra table down yonder, I have some potting soil. Some potting soil in the buckets is for cactus. That's just regular starting, like regular potting soil that the bag ripped. And then this is some seed starting mix right here, which I already put in trays to start some seeds. Under here, I have all these empty containers that I keep for job sites, like the good strong ones. These are some 1040 trays and another little tray to carry things. Let's see. Over here, I bought the chest. I was going to put the wood burning stove, but I don't think it's going to fit. The space is a little, it's not tight. I mean, I could probably bring it and put it right here, but it's heavy. I tried to move it and it's not moving. I need some help. But on this shelf right here, I was going to put some shelves on the wall, and then I did, and it didn't look good. It just looked kind of weird. So I decided to utilize this metal shelf, and this is just some stuff. These are the tags that I need for planting seeds. And I just keep the saucers, the black buckets that I get from the job sites, things like that, like these little containers. I keep the best ones. This shelf, I just have my seeds, some little baskets for strawberries or some things like that. And then all the little plants. These are the succulents that I have left over from the job site. This is a little birdhouse that I used for our event, Berry Fest, because I do all the photo booths there. And I have that, we have like a little farm market, just a whole bunch of different ones. And I use little photo props like that and hanging off the little photo booth thing. But isn't that so cute, you guys? This is my new favorite place to hang out right now. Plus, we're starting seeds. But isn't that just adorable? And then over here on the table, so I did stain the table, and right here I have a bunch of seeds. These are the seeds that we're going to be planting today. This is a little fan that my dad got for me. Some succulents right there. A little Bluetooth speaker. My girlfriend got me this, not my little girlfriend. This is a little thing where I'm in here and I want to watch a movie and I'm doing stuff. Then I pop this up there. I could put my phone right here and I could watch a movie with my Bluetooth speaker. But yeah, and then this is a little lamp. Isn't that so cute? A little touch lamp. It's rechargeable. So if I'm out here at night and I'm watching a movie, then I could just have some ambiance. I love it. Yeah, it's fun. I like coming out here at night, like at dusk. It's so quiet and so peaceful. And so sometimes I just like to come in here and sit down and just kind of relax. But I also have my other my other sewing room and stuff, which I do need to clean up because it's time to get started on some projects for our event in May called Berry Fest, our Mother's Day event. And so I need to start sewing some strawberries and just doing all kinds of stuff. And then over here on the other side, let's see, past the tractor right there, the fence is down and the chickens have been getting into the garden, which is, there's nothing growing right now in any of the garden beds. I need to weed a bunch of the garden beds and top them off with some mushroom compost. So many projects, you guys. I think I'm going to have some guys help me take care of the weeds in the garden beds. But today we are going to start some seeds. So I'm so excited to start some seeds. I have all my soil in the trays. So I'm just going to get you set up and we're going to talk about seeds, which seeds I'm starting, what I'm going to be starting now. Do seeds need sunlight right away, or do you need to set up light right away? All those good things. So let's go ahead and get started and dive into this seed starting season for 2026. All right, so let me just go ahead and share with you all of the seeds that we're going to be starting for our 2026 garden, and I am so excited for this year. All right, so this tray right here, I have a bunch of these. These are like, I want to say 4 quarts. Let's take this little tag off here. I just reuse a lot of these containers. You know, we own a commercial landscape business, so I just try to utilize the containers as much as possible and not purchase anything. I haven't purchased containers in a long while, so I just keep these ones and they seem to be doing the trick. So let's talk about soil. First, what I have going in my soil is I use a seed starting mix, and it's called EB Organics. I believe that's what it's called, seed starting mix. You can probably find any kind of seed starting mix from your local nursery. That's what I do. And if I have any questions, I usually ask them, and they have a plethora of information that they love to share with you at the nursery. So I'm going to start some tomatoes. So this whole tray is just going to be all tomatoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just heavily sow the tomatoes, because with tomatoes, you can separate them. And so that's what I'm going to do with the tomatoes, is just do a really thick succession of tomatoes, and then when it's time and they get tall enough, I'm just going to go ahead and separate them and put them in their own little containers. So my cousin got me these, and I am so excited. They're from Gurney's. This is the first time I've ever grown Gurney tomato seeds. I did start some carrot seeds in the garden in October, and they're actually doing pretty well. We haven't had a lot of sun, so they haven't been getting super big, but I did put them in pretty thick. And then when we went to Europe, I did not thin them out, and I have not thinned them out I did not thin anything out when I got back. So I might have to go through there and probably pick out some of the ones that are super tight, so they can get some bulkiness to the carrots. So we're gonna plant this one right here. What is it called? Midnight Snack. That sounds good. Midnight Snack kind of sounds like a little cherry tomato. So and this is a hybrid, I've never grown these before. Like I said, this is a rainbow blend. Ooh, I like rainbow blends. That's gonna, there's no pictures, so I can't show you any pictures. Now, a lot of these tomato seeds I just bought from the local nursery. I just did not have time to go online and buy a bunch of seeds. I usually go to Johnny Selected Seeds. I love their seeds. I have really good success with them. They have a very high germination rate. It actually says it on the package what the germination rate is, and I don't think this one has it, but, and that's one nice thing, and I've always really liked them. And so, but I also have good success with like burpees and botanical interest. It just seems like I have a really high germination rate with the Johnny Selected Seeds for some reason. All right, so what we have going, we have the Tomato Bush Ace 55. So we're gonna do those. We're gonna do these Tomato Bush Roma Supremo. There we go, Supremo. And when it says bush, it's exactly what it is. Just going to grow into a little bush. If it says pole, that means it's going to be, it needs something to climb on. So we're going to do these San Marzanos, which I love these. I like, a lot of these I use either for canning, for stewed tomatoes, things like that. But I've never tried this, and I've always wanted a blend of cherry tomatoes of all different mixtures. So I'm going to try that one. That looks pretty good. Now this one is a pole cherry. This is a little cherry tomatoes, and I don't think I've ever tried these sweeties. And of course we have our sun golds, which I have not planted these in the past and have regretted it, because these are so fun to snack on. They're so sweet and so delicious, and they just do not disappoint. So as far as our tomatoes goes, those are all the tomatoes that we're going to be planting in the garden. And then on top of the, oh, forgot one more. Whoopsie daisy. This one is the Cherokee Purple. I love the Cherokee Purple, and such a good tomato. Great for slicing, eating fresh, and which is what we do a lot of the times. We do eat fresh, and I do try to can enough things just to last us at least a year. Now, I have not planted any turnips, and I love turnips, so I definitely want to get some of those started. So we're going to start some turnips, and I believe we could still, while the weather is cool, like still cool, you can plant some turnips. And I believe we're going to be having like a cold spell coming up. Now, I've never planted onions from seed. I always bought the little onion starts, like the little bulbs, and the onion bulbs did not get that big. So I am going to go ahead and try and attempt to plant some of these onion seeds and see if we get any onions, you know, and how big the bulbs are going to get. Now, I don't think I'm going to plant these right away. I think I'm going to wait until the garden beds are ready and then start my cucumber seeds and things like that, because I find that when I plant the seed right into the garden bed, there's no fuss. It does really well. All right, so what do we have here? This is peppers. Let's see. Yes, sashimi. Sashimi, yes, sashimi peppers. So we're going to plant some sashimi peppers because I learned how to make a sweet chili sauce, and a lot of people call it cowboy candy, but I know it as sweet chili sauce from the Asian market. And I made that. Oh my goodness, so delicious. So you just dip your egg rolls in. You don't have to buy that stuff from the market. Who knows what kind of preservatives it has in it. And it's just so easy to make. I had no idea. So now I'm going to grow a bunch of peppers just to make that cowboy candy, that sweet chili sauce. So we have some from Gurney's. It's called the Sweet Pepper Candy Cane Chocolate Cherry Hybrid. That sounds delicious. I cannot wait to see that. And then we have another one from Gurney's. It's called the Hot Pepper Mad Hatter. Sounds good. Sounds interesting. We have this Red Rocket, which we have planted these before, and this is by Johnny Selected Seeds, and they come in an abundance. So I am so excited. Normally, I just plant one garden bed full of many different types of peppers, but this year I think I'm going to, you know, change it up a little bit. Maybe each container is going to have some peppers or something in it. I don't know. But we're going to do something different this year with as far as our peppers, now that I know how to make that sweet chili sauce. All right, so we're going to do this Baron peppers, and then I'm going to start some artichokes, you guys. I started artichokes one year. We had a really good success with artichokes, but I put them all in a garden bed, and I did not realize how big they got. they got huge. So I'm debating whether or not I want to put them into the ground, into the actual, make a nice little hole and pop the seed once they sprout up, once they germinate and it's ready to put them in the ground. I'm wondering, should I just put them into the ground or should I put them in grow bags? I might as well put them in the ground. Our soil is really hard. We don't really have soil. We have clay. So I would have to have John come in here with an auger and dig a really big hole so that way we could fill it up with some mushroom compost or something like that, and so they can have a really good fighting chance and survive. Because I love myself some artichokes, and the one year I did grow artichokes, they were just delicious. The whole thing was meaty, so I cannot wait. And yeah, artichokes. So we're going to start some of those, and then what do we have here? We have cauliflower. We have some cauliflower, snow crown. We have some broccoli. We have, what's this broccoli called? I don't even know how to say it. Romancico. I think that's how you say it. Cauliflower, flame star. That sounds interesting. And I'm not too sure if it's too late to start cauliflower, but they do like the cold weather. I feel like we are still in kind of winter area. We're in zone 9, so I feel like we can still do that. And then I've never tried loofah, but I thought, you know what? This would be kind of fun because I have been making our own soap. So some loofah can go with the soap, you guys. Ideas. Too many of them. Too many ideas. Now, these things I'm going to start when the weather starts to get warm. I'm not going to start them right now. We have some snow peas. We're kind of out of date for snow peas. I should have started snow peas back in October. I'm sure you might maybe start them now, but I don't think so. So this summer squash, I'm going to start this when the weather gets warmer. Some of this zucchini, I'm going to start that. And all of my beans. When it starts to get a little bit warmer, I'm going to do all of my beans. Now, you can put these and you can grow these in containers, but they do sprout up super fast. And right now, I don't think we're going to have the weather for it by the time it's time to plant these out. So, I like to plant these out directly into the garden. I have the best success with that. And I'll do a couple different successions since we have a very long summer. So I'm just going to put those aside, but just want to let you know that those are the things that we're going to be planting later on in the season when the weather starts to get a bit warmer. So let's just go ahead and start planting. And like I said, I'm going to do a heavy succession of seeds into this container, into all these containers with tomatoes. And then when they start to germinate and they have their secondary leaves, that's when we're going to pop them out and separate them, and they're going to go into their own cells. So I've done this in the past, and this has been the best way for me to germinate tomato seeds. And with tomato seeds, so I'm learning that when you are doing seeds, when you're planting seeds, I always thought that all seeds needed light. I always thought that the seeds needed light, and they don't. Not all seeds need light. So the smaller the seed, that's when you want to put a light on top of it. What they do need the most is warmth. They need the warmth to be there so that way it kind of tricks them into germinating, telling them that it is time for them to germinate. And so once the seed germinates, then you put the light on top of it. So, but a lot of people, they just put the light on top just to be on the safe side. So that is my understanding, is that the seeds do not need light right away. They need light once you see them. Once you see them popping up, that's when they need that 14 to 16 hour a day light. With the tomatoes, I always just put them on a heating pad. This is how I do my tomatoes. I don't know how other people do them, but how I do them is before in the past, I used to put the heating pad and the lights. And then one year, I didn't do that. I just used the dome and I used the heating pad. And the seeds germinated. And once they germinated, I popped the light right there on top of them. And I put it pretty close so that way they're not going to get leggy. And that year, I had the best success in tomatoes that I've ever had. I've never had that type of success with tomatoes. A lot of times my tomatoes would come out leggy or kind of weird like that. And but I've always gotten tomatoes from them. So you know, I've always had a good, successful year with tomatoes. But this one year, I was just like so happy with the tomatoes, and I did them just like this. I want to say, was it last year? I'm not even too sure which year it was, honestly. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. So let me just go ahead and show you. Let me put you on the right here on the counter so you can get a good view of what I'm doing. And I'm just gonna scatter a bunch of seeds into all the containers. All right. All right, so here are the trays. I just made all the little signs for you see that? For the little trays so I know what I'm planting. So first we are going to go ahead and plant some. Let's go with the midnight snack. That sounds delicious. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I plant them, and then I'm just going to put you on hyper speed, and we're going to plant all of these seeds. The pepper seeds, the turnip seeds. Now the turnip seeds are tiny, so I'm probably going to have to put the light on that, and the broccoli seeds. But the tinier the seed, the more energy it takes for them to, because they're so tiny, to push up through the soil. The bigger the seed, the easier it is. So when you have a really tiny seed, you don't want to plant them super deep. You just want to kind of put them right there on top of the surface and just put a little soil on top. And that is what I'm learning with the seeds. With smaller seeds, the bigger seeds, they have a lot of, they're stronger, they're bigger, they have a lot of energy, and they could just break out of their shell very easy. All right, so here are some midnight snack hybrid. Let's see. I'm probably not going to plant all of them. We're going to do a few of them. So let's go ahead and start with this one. So what I did do is I'm just going to go ahead and move the dirt around. They're not that big. Tomato seeds are not that big. Do you see that? And I'm just going to go ahead and see. We're going to put probably, they say put 3 in each one, but we're probably going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do 7. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle 7 seeds. No, let's do 8. Just to be on the safe side. Let's do 10 just in case. Okay, 10. There we go. So we're just going to go like that, and we're just going to go ahead and push the dirt on top, just like that, and there you have it. One plot done, and that is the, which one is this one? The midnight snack. Midnight snack. There we go. All right, so that is how we're going to do it, and we're just going to plant all of these seeds into these containers. Now, you can get definitely carried away and plant all of the seeds, which I have done in the past. Big mistake, because all of them germinated when I did it the first time. Like, I had so many seeds that germinated, and I planted them all at the wrong time, and everything popped up, and then I ended up wasting a lot of seeds, which is a lot of money. And so I've learned that I don't have to plant all the seeds. I just have to plant what I'm going to grow. And yeah. So this next one is going to be the tomato heirloom rainbow blend. All right. So we're just going to go put you on hyper speed, and we're going to plant all these tomatoes. Then we're going to go with the peppers. And after we're done, I'll go ahead and show you all the different seeds that we planted. And if there's anything that maybe I need to pop in here and tell you a little bit about it, then I will. All right, so this one is the rainbow blend right here. for our 2026 spring summer garden. I cannot wait to see what it's going to look like this summer. Every year it's so exciting to see the garden grow and to see, you know, the fruits of your labor. So that's so exciting. And then fixing up the cottage. This was something that I've been wanting to do for some time, and I'm so excited. And putting up all these shelves and staining it. It's just been so nice and so cozy in here. So there you have it, planting seeds, fixing up the cottage, and then waiting for some baby goats. You guys, I cannot wait to see these baby goats. I'm so excited. Any day now, they can be giving birth any day. And so I just been out here keeping an eye on them, making sure they're comfortable and all that good stuff. And so yeah, I cannot wait, and I hope I get to film them having babies, because that's my first time ever. And so we'll see how it goes. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. It encourages you to plant some seeds for your garden, or fix up projects, or if you have projects that you need to do, it's never too late to tackle those projects. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and encourages you to do the same. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.